A child utterly alone, a starving orphan. He's delirious with hunger. Close by, adults are eating, but they ignore him, walk past him. What kind of country could allow this to happen, could so abandon its children? A little girl with bare feet, soiled trousers, grubs for scraps of food in the mud. She lives in North Korea, where 3 million people have starved to death in the last 5 years. The man is scared. He's filming secretly. If he's caught, he'll be executed. He's a 29-year-old North Korean. He wants to show what's really going on in a country shut off from the world. He goes by the name An Chol, but he must hide his real identity.
When I hear someone shouting, I think he's recognized me. When I see a policeman, I'm terrified he's coming to get me. It's very frightening. But I have to do it. I have to do it so my people can live.
Across the river from China, North Korea, the last Stalinist dictatorship, the world's most secret state. An Chol's parents starved to death there. He managed to escape. But 3 times in the last 2 years, he slipped back past the border guards with his hidden camera. He's in North Korea now, undercover. For An Chol's safety, we can't name this North Korean town. There's food here on the black market, but for an orphan child with no money, there are only crumbs. The boys are fending for themselves. One scoops up leftovers, spilled rice, corn, foraging with a plastic bag. An Chol films soldiers and other adults with money eating. They ignore the hungry children. There may be 200,000 street children in North Korea, many of them orphans. But to the adults here, they're simply pests. A boy picks clean a fishbone that an adult has thrown away. North Korea claims it hands out food to the orphan children, but that's a lie. The state has abandoned them, pretends they don't exist. A boy weak with hunger, unsteady. He's barely able to speak to An Chol. mud-caked town, like most of North Korea, is sealed off from all foreigners, even aid workers. If it wasn't for An Chol, nobody would ever know what's happening here. An Chol is once again inside North Korea, trying to get more secret footage. I've applied to go there too, on an official visit. I'm going as a tourist. Journalists are forbidden. Unlike An Chol, if they catch me, they'll probably just throw me out. I've joined one of the few small groups of Westerners allowed in by North Korea each year. Posing as my companion, camera woman Anna Roberts.
No, it's free. I mean, it's a random picture. No random pictures. Oh, okay. Whenever I say, you know, that you may take the photo, then it's a check. All right.
Our guide. His job to censor what we see and hear. But I want to find out if there are cracks in the facade that North Korea presents to the outside world. Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, like a multi-million-pound film set. We're taken around its monuments. Built at crippling expense, they glorify North Korea's founding father, hand-picked by Stalin, Kim Il-sung, and the son who succeeded him, Kim Jong-il. Their big brother-like faces stare down on the city's streets and workplaces. They're everywhere. It's eerie. Can I take your picture? Can I take a picture of this?
This building was unveiled in 1982,
And this is taller than the one in France, is that right? Taller than the Arch de
10
Triomphe.
meters higher than.
10 metres higher.
Yes.
Big. We get a stream of propaganda. Image here is everything. At night on state television, the current leader, Kim Jong-il, in his many incarnations. Kim Jong-il, dispenser of wisdom to the workers. Kim Jong-il, commander-in-chief of the army. Kim Jong-il, the dear leader. But nothing in Pyongyang is what it seems. I'm told it's a bustling metropolis. The streets are deserted. I'm told its people are industrious, but they're not working. There's a fun fair here, but no one's having fun. Sweeping boulevards, but hardly any cars. No one's home. It all feels like an expensive show. Even our hotel is empty. It's a 46-story skyscraper, but most of the floors are vacant. Our hotel is on an island in the middle of the river that runs through the heart of Pyongyang. We've been told we can wander around this little bit of the island, but we're not allowed to go into the city unaccompanied. We're not allowed to go hungry either.
Very good.
We've just had another 6-7 course meal, courtesy of the North Korean state. It was very nicely prepared, little table decorations made out of carrot, spring onions and tomatoes. But I've seen An Chol's pictures. This is not a normal country. It's all pretense. day 7 of the official tour. Rehearsals for the parade so loved by the dear leader. The children here are the elite. We're not allowed to talk to them, they're just on display. These children are all from the showpiece capital. They look happy, well cared for, well fed. These are the images of children that Kim Jong-il would like us to take home with us. It's time to leave Pyongyang. Time to join An Chol, the undercover cameraman. I'm going to meet him on the Chinese side of the North Korean border. That's if he manages to get out. The River Tumen, the border between North Korea and China. It's not that deep, not that fast-flowing, but it's a treacherous escape route for thousands of North Koreans seeking refuge from tyranny and starvation. We've arrived in the border area between North Korea and China. It's a very dangerous place for the North Korean refugees. It's not even wise for us to spend too much time in one place. There's a good chance that we'd be picked up by the police and interrogated. It's illegal to film at the border, even from the Chinese side. But An Chol and a small network of sympathisers have managed it. These are their pictures. The North Korean border guards watch the river closely. They hide in bunkers set in the bank. Their orders: shoot to kill. The Chinese authorities deport all the refugees they catch. Hundreds are forced back to North Korea every week. This busload of them face beatings, even execution. Any locals caught helping the refugees are threatened with fines and imprisonment. An Chol's network film people escaping and those who fail. I've arranged to meet An Chol on the Chinese side of the border. I want to see his latest pictures. But worryingly, he fails to turn up. I don't know why, but he's still inside North Korea. I wait for him in the Chinese border town of Yanji, where ethnic Koreans have lived for centuries. The refugees try to hide amongst them. The air is heavy with paranoia and suspicion. I'm one of the very few Westerners who ever come here, so I'm extremely conspicuous. Journalists are not wanted here, so again I must play the tourist. I want to talk to the North Korean refugees, find out what's really going on in a country closed off from the rest of the world, but they're frightened. They could be deported just for speaking to me. One family agrees, so long as their identities stay hidden. They escaped from North Korea last year. Their father tells me what happened before they left.
Many people died of hunger each day. Many died. I saw them. We saw a whole family dead under a bridge. The father thought it would be better to die than to live on. So they went outside and deliberately froze to death.
Each community had 20 families, 18 to 20 families. Out of that, 5 or 6 families died from each community. They just died away. They were alive one day, and they were gone the next. They died like that. They died of hunger.
Their daughter tells me what happened to 3 of her school friends.
The friends who died, both their mother and father had died already, so they went begging. Later, they died.
These secretly filmed pictures show children crossing the river to China. They wade some of the way, then swim. In winter, it's freezing. Only the strongest ones make it. I want to meet some of the North Korean children who've got across to China. Ann Chol's friends here say we may find some on wasteland by a church. We go at night and try to stay inconspicuous. There's a gang of children who look about 12 but are 4 or 5 years older. How long have you been here?
이제 5일 됩니다. 5일 됩니다.
5일?
네.
5 days.
5 days? They agree to show me where they're living. We go through back streets and alleyways. Finally, a building site. The boys' home on an upper floor is off limits in daytime. They climb in the dark up a half-built staircase. It's a sheer drop. One false step and they've had it. The boys are frightened, not least because there was a major roundup of refugees last month. 300 North Koreans were sent from here back across the border. The boys spend their nights in this construction site. They spend their days trying to catch money, trying to catch clothes from the locals. Many of them say they crossed the river more than once to take money back to their parents in North Korea. Those of them who still have parents, that is. This boy's parents starved to death. In a matter-of-fact way, he tells me something that sounds incredible, that hunger has pushed some in North Korea into cannibalism.
If you bought human flesh without knowing it, it was alright. But those people who killed someone and saw the flesh, or ate the flesh, those people are shot to death. Of course it was sold in secret. It was sold as pork. I understand human flesh tastes like that. So you don't know what it is. You eat it without knowing it's human flesh. You're so hungry, you just eat it.
His story is not unique. I'm shown pictures drawn by another North Korean child who's in hiding in China. His name is Gil-soo. He draws his mother gathering tree bark and grass. There's nothing else to eat. She gets ill. He draws a man eating a snake and a rat. He also draws this, human flesh sold in a North Korean market. Again and again, refugees speak to me of this.
A friend told me he saw human flesh being sold in the market. He himself saw someone being arrested for selling it. There are many cases of killing people and eating the flesh.
This is Busan, one of North Korea's largest industrial cities. Estimated population 200,000. But it's a ghost town. The mine abandoned. The factories shut down. The only sign of life is the army practicing martial arts. North Korea admits it's had a food crisis for 5 years now, but it won't admit the country has completely collapsed. We're taken by Anchol's friends to a secret location, a one-room shack and a very frightened man. He's a North Korean farmer, but the crop he was ordered to grow won't feed starving children. He calls it drug tobacco, yaktambe, in English, opium.
The flowers were white and round. We carve it 3 times with a knife, like this. If you do, I've done it myself, the resin comes out very white. You pick it with a knife and put it on a piece of glass. That is pure resin. There's a place where it's processed by the state. It's processed 3 times and made into a drug.
What he says backs up claims by the United States. They say North Korea is using up to 17,000 acres of prime agricultural land to grow not food but opium. That it's processed into heroin for sale in the West. That the profits go not to feed starving children but to arm the military.
In Jinghae, North Hamgyong, the yaktambe was brought in along with the potato seeds. And the farmers were told to get rid of all other crops and plant the yaktambe in the best soil. I knew it was bad, but it was the state's affair. We don't interfere with the state. I just produce what I'm told to produce.
And this was definitely for the government. It wasn't just something you were doing yourselves.
Yes, that's correct.